Okay, so I was in TJ Maxx recently with my mother, and we were browsing the toy section for my niece. And as some of you have been gathering, perhaps I'm a big fan of toys. It took me a long time to get back to true vital facts about myself, is that toys are amazing. Toys are better than my face. Toys are just, I could do a whole video about how much I like toys. However, at TJ Maxx I found something that is not happy for a toy. I actually found it very disturbing. And this is it. This is an U.S. Army registered trademark symbol assault four-wheeler. It has a 3 3/4 inch posable Army figure. It has all sorts of U.S. Army stamping on it. It has official licensee U.S. Army on a shiny, sort of a glossy thingy over there. I got this for the low price of $5.50, originally at $12. My regret, however, is that I didn't pick up the larger set, which included some sort of guard tower, which honestly, the dystopian FEMA camp playlist, honestly, the dystopian FEMA camp playset possibilities there are endless. So we all know about G.I. Joe, and you can certainly argue about G.I. Joe. I always liked morbid, creepy toys when I was little because I spent half my time reading history books, usually about World War II. So my stuffed animals were always fleeing some sort of dictator. Like, I was sort of playing Nazi Germany with stuffed animals, which sounds morbid and absolutely in bad taste. But I didn't intend that. I don't want to sound self-aggrandizing, like I knew the gravity of the situation when I was, had a bunny rabbit fleeing from Hitler. But I had read these fascinating true stories, and as much as any, 9-year-old can understand the stakes of what these people went through and suffered, I was trying to reenact it in my mind. It was a junior version of wishing I had a time machine, which I wish now, just because I want to see things, even if I really don't want to, even if they give me, PTSD for the rest of my life. To me, a lot about play has always been trying to make these big moments into some small, Playmobil-sized, stuffed animal-sized things that maybe could help me figure out why they happened and what they were like. I have no problem with war toys per se. My mom was not one of those people who banned toy guns or, water guns if you're really strict. I don't think this is a toy. I think this is a piece of marketing. This is a recruitment piece for the U.S. Army. And to its extremely arguable credit, it admits as such. On the back it says, "Strong in mind, body, and soul, U.S. Army soldiers protect us and all that the U.S. Constitution stands for. The ability stems from U.S. Army training to think, to act, to live by values and a creed that lets each soldier feel proud to be part of a team. Learn more about what it means to be a U.S. Army soldier at www.goarmy.com. And there's a little stamp also from the U.S. Army MWR, soldiers, families, retirees, civilians. It's kind of, from what I gather about them, is that they help sort of take care of civilians and take care of families when their spouses go off to war or deployed somewhere, and they have sort of wholesome activities for families. And that's pretty, benign sounding, but again, arguably, but the reason you might need such a group is that you have too many soldiers deployed to too many places around the world. And there's something wrong with this toy. I don't know who it's for. That's one of my questions. Because if you're a type of parent who gives their kid this toy, or the type of uncle or aunt or anything at all, the kid in question is already going to pick up messages, very flat, unnuanced messages about what the Army is and that war is a toy. I recently, I was Googling some stuff, trying to figure out why this product exists, and I found a Snopes article from 2002 about a product called the U.S. Army Command Post that was sold in the JCPenney catalog. And Snopes was actually, Snopes is the fact-checking site, and it was confirming the existence of this product. It had an Army guy, and it had what looked like, and as many people joked at the time, was Barbie's sort of wrecked dream house. It was a little piece of sort of this War of Mine, that game that sort of plays at being a civilian hiding in a bombed out house during a war, except this didn't come with hiding civilians. The civilians, whoever lived in this dollhouse before the U.S. Army moved in, were long gone. And my buddies at antiwar.com actually wrote a blog post about this 2002 toy, and they made a fuss about it, and I absolutely don't blame them. I respect them for it, but I almost think that piece, and it wasn't, as far as I know, didn't have anything to do with the U.S. Army official seal, that piece is almost a piece of art. I mean, it raises questions. What toys lived in the house? What's this war? Where did they go? The Army man has taken over. Who used to live in this house? Again, I almost want that piece. I kind of want it now. And I think even when I was little, I would have known that something was a little wrong with it. I certainly would know now. But again, the implication of that playset is not that you are playing bombed out civilians, that you're trying to understand in a little kid way what that would mean, but that you are controlling the Army soldier who comes with the bombed out house. Did you take it over? Did you conduct a no-knock raid and kick the civilians out of the house? I don't know. So that playlist isn't good either. But the sterility of this, again, is almost worse. There's nothing, it's just raw. And it comes with all that you see. Oh, that's cute. It's a little silhouetted backdrop. That's nice. Okay, so we're going to unbox the toy. Comes with little Army guy. He bends the legs and the arms and a little bit at the neck. He can sit down if he needs to, or at least lean, in an exhausted fashion like that. Photo of the dude smoking a cigarette after Fallujah. He can get his PTSD if he needs to. But thankfully, he comes with this lovely piece of weaponry. I don't know if it's accurate, but I imagine that whoever designed this thing, which is put out by Excite Toys, probably, if you're going to make it some official Army stuff, he's got a backpack too, so he can be big and strong and carry it around all day. So, he's not exactly the complexity of even G.I. Joe, but he's a little more detailed than any, green plastic Army man. And he has his assault four-wheeler thing. Boy.
I'm so glad I joined the reserve so I could get called up to Afghanistan for the 5th time. Can't wait to get PTSD. I mean, this might mean nothing, but it's kind of sickening. I don't know what it's for. I don't know if it's a cool souvenir for people who are in the Army, or a PTSD trigger for people who are in the Army, or a way to get out your aggression, by crushing him, and since you wish you never joined the Army. This is not a toy, You can, I guess it is. You can play U.S. Army. If you think the Army is as serious and as respectable as a lot of people do, and this toy itself seems to think, then what's it doing in toy form? Why is it recruiting on the back of a toy box? Again, it's not hiding it. I mean, there are all these scandals, and should be scandals, about how Hollywood, they have a deal with the military, with the Pentagon, where Michael Bay types will do this enthusiastically. A few directors won't do it. But if you want to use Army gear for your TV show, for your movie, the Pentagon has to sign off on your portrayal of the military. So you actually have an incentive to not critique the military very much, which is not creative or artistic, and it's not apolitical either. And obviously, the big old kerfuffle with the NFL players, the Colin Kaepernick thing, where he takes a knee during the national anthem, that sort of dragged into oh my God, you hate soldiers, you hate troops thing, even though it was intended originally to be a protest about police brutality. And, that was his, Kaepernick's original idea was police brutality. It turned a little bit into an anti-Trump thing, a little bit into the president said we can't do this, so let's do this thing. And yeah, it's not unrelated to the flag or the military, because sporting events are very politicized. Every baseball game I've ever been to has the national anthem, and you're supposed to applaud a soldier who came back from Iraq. And I'm happy to applaud that they're back. I'm not going to applaud that they were there in the first place. It's nothing, it's not about them as individuals. I'm not applauding the fact that anybody was ever there in the first place. And I don't stand for the national anthem, because I would be a huge hypocrite if I did. And honestly, sincere patriots should get that. And they should also get that the military has paid the NFL to promote itself. Billions of dollars since 2009 to promote itself. And it was only since 2009 that players were on the field and visible to the TV cameras and to the crowd while the national anthem played. It was not a controversy until the NFL and the military made it a controversy. And it's not as if Kaepernick or anyone else was disrupting this apolitical, all-American sporting event with their politics. The other side started it, and just because these people are lucky and perhaps wealthy in a lot of cases doesn't mean that they should be made to do something that makes them uncomfortable. So there's a lot of politics in this stupid, shitty toy. And, I am a purple-haired lady in a Harley Quinn shirt with piercings, and so I know exactly the type of trolls who think they know exactly what my politics are, I'm triggered by a toy. SJW strike again. But no, take this as a founders-friendly constitutional objection to a standing army. Take it as an anarchist, near-pacifist objection to wars in the military. Both are accurate, and we should actually be thinking about why our military is in 100+ countries, why there are military bases in 80+ countries. Something is wrong and something is on automatic, and nobody knows how to stop it. It's the strange thing. A lot of people profit off of it. A lot of people want it to keep going, but nobody knows how to turn off the machine. And I recently went to a high school graduation for the first time. My niece was graduating, and they had the national anthem, and I sat again, and nobody bothered me because I'm Scandinavian white chick. I sat at the RNC, and nobody bothered me there either. If I needed to de-escalate a situation, I'd say I was a Jehovah's Witness or something, because props to those guys for suing for the right to sit during the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem and such. But there was also a moment in the high school graduation where various representatives of the military came to sort of salute the kids who were joining up. And it made me want to cry, especially in the case of the young man who was going into active service, not just the reserves. Though again, the reserves get called up to war zones plenty. And the crowd spontaneously climbing to their feet and applauding these kids made me want to cry more. I don't think I'm the only person who wants to cry when they see that, but I think that I'm in the minority when I want to cry because it makes me so sad and upset, and I think it's a waste. You know, we can debate foreign policy. We don't really debate it enough. You know, with President Trump, we confused his rhetoric about isolationism just sort of turned into hating immigrants and continuing the military status quo in almost every case. And it needs to stop. And, you know, we love soldiers in the abstract in America. We love them in the abstract. We love saluting and applauding when they go to war. We don't really like taking care of them or acknowledging that a lot of them get PTSD and physical injuries and things like that. And so, like, this is just a shitty toy. I know that, but I don't think that I don't think it should exist. And I think that any excuse to talk about this issue that we don't talk about, that we just let it keep going on and on, should be taken. So a $5.50 toy from TJ Maxx is my excuse. Because war's not a toy.